boys are gonna rock!
Guys, this is really, it's incredible to be back and to be with you. And we're here, and I know we're gonna have a great time.
Woo!
I feel terrific. I feel just, this guy here is, he made this happen, you know? He was unrelenting for 8 months. You know, he kept contacting Mark Nolan, my best friend.
Give Mark a hand. Mark is amazing.
I want you guys. Anybody that has heard his name, this is the face. This man is my dearest friend, and he's been my lawyer for 20 years. And if this is anybody who knows that name, this is him. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So anyway, Derek had contacted Mark for about 8 months, and I didn't think, anyone would want to see me again. So I said, I don't. And Derek said, no, I think people still want to hear it, still see you. And I thought, okay. So, but it took 8 months to, get it to here, And
But it was worth
really
it.
glad I came. I'm really happy I came.
We are too.
I love you all.
I love you, Vinnie!
Thank you all so much. Great to see you. It's really great to be with you. So thank you, everybody.
Vinnie, how does it feel? I've been talking to fans in the hotel since yesterday, and people are in tears. I got choked up. My introduction was short because I was going to start crying if I didn't. I'm going to do it now. How does it feel?
I'll tell you, this is one of the happiest days of my life, and I really mean that. And it's alive. We're alive. We're above ground. We're here to enjoy each other. A lot of people have passed, and there's a lot of pain out there. Every day we're just bombarded with pain. Meanness, pain, mean-spirited stuff. And I just didn't want to be a part of that anymore. So I said, if anybody is going to see me, they're going to know, my side of a lot of events that have happened. And I think they're going to hear me speak for the first time about a lot of things that happened, and maybe to bring a little good feelings back, and take a break from all the hate and the pain and all that crap that's out there. And that's why I wanted to do this, a big part of it.
So what have you been doing for the last 20 years?
Last 20 years. I have been, this is probably one of the hardest answers to a question that sounds simple. Do you want fake news or real news?
Real, man.
The truth? You want the truth?
Yeah, man.
You want slick or you want unrehearsed? You want it from the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you deserve it. You deserve a lot of it, from the hard stuff, because I disappeared because there was I think a lot of things began early 90s, and there was a discovery that there was a lot of royalties that were owed to me from my friends, my band, and they were a tremendous amount of money, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I really tried to see if we could have avoided any litigation, any lawsuits, any problems. And I spent 4 years. I've spent 4 years from 91 to 97 and just saying, don't you think we could do the right thing and make me happy? There's been nothing but great memories that we did together, and the records we made were great, and it was a time that I needed to resolve with me that would have made most of the things that I had done in my career make sense. And unfortunately, my very dear friends didn't feel that way. And it surprised me because a lot of when people work for a living, you work to get paid at the end of the week. With musicians, it's different because a lot of that happens 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line. In the work you do now, you usually don't get paid for till 12 months later, and sometimes 18 months later. But it takes all that time for sales to accumulate and for all the royalties that are derived from these sales to find their way, into accounting. And it's a really long process. But, we're talking about 20 years from, I don't figure 1982 to 97, which is, it's what, 15 years. And that's a lot of royalties and a lot of time, a lot of accumulation, a lot of records. And so there was a tremendous amount of royalties that were owed. I tried so hard to make it, work so we could have been friendly and amicable about all of it. And again, my dear friends did not feel that way. So I really had no choice. And I had to file a lawsuit. And it was not anything I wanted to do. And instead of someone saying, listen, just take care of Vinnie, it didn't turn out that way. And when you have a family, when you have a mom, a dad, whatever, you want to let them see, the fruits of your labor, your talent. And it was important for me to let them see it while they were still here. And, I've got a family, I've got kids, and it doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody. So it went on for 20 years, and it was unnecessary. In my opinion, it should have never happened. And after 20 years, we finally put it to bed, and we settled it. And there was really no need for it because I love them, These are my close friends. We shared some great songs, great memories, great playing. Regardless of what, you are being told, my memories of it were they were fantastic. I was young. This was what I wanted more than anything in life. I wanted to be in this band because I think I could make a difference. I feel what they feel. I feel what they write. I could remember Gene saying to me, "You'd be great for the band, but you're too short." So I said, "Well, that's what you're basing this on." So those were the early days. Those were the days where I said, "I'm not going to let you say no. You're not going to say no because this is the right thing that's going to happen." And it did. So I'll answer everything you guys want to know. I'm here to tell you as much as I can tell you, and I hope to fill in all the gaps of everything you want to know.
Just getting back to a little bit of history, what's the real story about how you joined the band during the Creatures era? When Ace, they sort of said Ace was in, but then he wasn't in, then ads appeared with you in it, and they really didn't talk about it publicly as an announcement.
My memories of that began in 80 to 81, and Kiss were, as far as I can remember, they booked a couple of studios at the record plant in Los Angeles, and I had I had a 1965 Dodge Dart, that didn't have a floor in it. So when I was driving, you could see the street go by. And I said, Kiss is recording there. Whoa, So I got to be in that band. Somebody said, they're looking for a guitar player. I said, that's me. So I made every effort to meet them. And one thing led to another. I was recording demos, I had songs, and I was, that was my life. Recording my demos, Usually they were, when you don't have any money, you just, whatever way they sound, when you're finished, that's it. Good or bad. Your time's up, and you're out of money, but you're recording these things, and you hope that something you wrote is good. So I wrote a song called Back on the Streets, and it worked. It found. Thank you. It's a song I always like, but it found its way into Michael, not the Michael Jackson singer, but the Michael James Jackson. Michael was a great guy. I really liked him very much, and of course I'm just a kid, green but wanting. Oh God, I wanted this so bad. So he said, I think this is a great song. This would be great for Kiss. We're recording a record. And that's how it happened. That is exactly how it happened. And so they were at the record plant, and it was like the first time actually what Michael had said to me was, I want you to write with Gene and with Paul, because I think there's something here that is common to Gene and Paul and you. And of course I hit it off. Eric and I became real fast friends. Eric was, God, he left us way too soon. He was like the nicest person you'd ever want to know. Funny, my God, this guy would, just one after another, and you'd be on the floor and never get up laughing, So he was a wonderful person. And he was a person that he was an advocate. He wanted, I think, from what I could remember, he wanted me to be part of the band. Our writing started to happen, and it was good. It was really good. We had something that is hard to explain to people, and I just felt that this was my dream to be in this band. This was everything I had always wanted. It was like being in the Beatles, And we wrote I Love It Loud. I never forget that. We were just one after another, after another, after another. And we had so many songs. And it just became this cornucopia of music that started to happen. And I'm thinking, God, this stuff is really good. Am I really doing this? Is this really happening? I'm living this, but I can't believe it's happening. And I could remember we were writing these I Love It Loud. I remember it really well. Killer was another song we had done that I remember really well. And the memories that go around, that are attached with this are incredible memories. I used to meet Gene. At the time, I think he had a relationship with Diana Ross. And I used to meet him at her house. She was not there, but she had this big cavernous living room. It was like about the size of this room, but this really high ceiling, It was kind of, Don't do the medicine, no, It's just the guitar and a voice, and these lyrics are coming out, and you're going, I love it loud. And this whole thing just began to just instant. It's almost like it wrote itself, and a lot of songs were like that. So after all of this, I know this is a long story, but after all of this writing and this natural relationship, musical relationship formed, there were still guitar players coming in to the recording studio. And I'm saying, I don't know, I'm right here, I don't know why you're doing this. Do you want me in this band, or do you not want me? No, we want you to stick around. Yeah, but what you got 100 guitar players, every day you got hundreds coming in, I'm watching them come in, they're going out, and they're a lot better looking than I was. And these are like Greek gods that are coming in and playing. I said, oh, these guys got the job. Look at them, And then another guy comes in, perfect, Mr. Perfect. He looked like gorgeous. You go, oh, this guy's got the job, Then another one, I'm going, I don't stand a chance, And they're tall, they're 6 feet, and I says, oh, this guy's exactly what they want, And the LA thing is like, oh, I don't stand a goddamn chance with any of this. So
who makes the call to you?
This is the best part. I think this is the best part. So the record was over. We had done the record, and I went home. They said, okay, Vinnie, thanks a lot. I said, okay, good luck. Good luck. I said, I wish I could have been in the band, but I love you, but thanks so much. This is like the best experience of my life. And wow, I can't believe I got like 5 songs on the Kiss record. So I went home, and my wife at that time, her name was Anne Marie, and she was pregnant, and hold on, guys, it's okay. So she was pregnant. She said, well, did you get the job? I'll be all right. You said
We got you, brother.
You guys said you wanted it from the heart, so that's what I'm giving you. So she was pregnant. I didn't know we were having twins. So she said, did you get the job? I said, no. So Gina Paul and the band flew to New York, and I just remembered, I remember we had no furniture in our apartment. We had a black and white TV, and so I can't remember who called me. I think it was their tour managers. Vinnie, we want you to come to New York and play a solo for. It was Keep Me Coming. We want you to come fly to New York, so I did, and I played the solo. Everybody was happy, and I said, well, see you guys, thanks for having me back. And was at the airport, and Eric took me to the airport. I think it was LaGuardia. And I'm getting ready to get on the plane. He says, don't leave yet. I said, why? He said, just don't leave. He said, cancel your flight. And so I think it was Gene said, cancel the flight. We got your hotel. We want you to stay, and we want to rehearse with you. So it was step after step after step after step. And so I remember calling home back to LA, and I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, but I think this is going to be something that I don't want to even imagine what it is, because I don't want to jinx it, but I think something's happening. We rehearsed, and I used to do like these guitar solos and get on my knee, and they go, "What are you getting on your knees for?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, it's what I do."
That's right.
So we had the rehearsals were great. It was really electrifying, and we gelled. The music was really electric. It felt, I could feel the electricity, like I've never felt it with anybody. So we said, I remember this was it. Well, thanks a lot. I think we'll call you. And I'm thinking, geez, okay. So I said, Eric, I booked a flight. He says, I'll take you back to the airport. So I was like, my head was hanging, you know. And I said, thanks, Eric, it was great seeing you, you know. And they said, I really had like the best time of my life. This was incredible. What a memory. So getting on the plane again, turn around waving to him. He says, see ya. And then I remember him running back. He's, Vinnie, wait. Come on. I could just see him. Wait. I said, what? You know, I'm going, what? Vinnie, come on back. So I'm just going to get on the plane, and I remember him saying, and I came back, and he says, I think Gene wants to talk to you. Again? I said, didn't we just go over this? Didn't this just happen? I swore we just went over this again. So, and I remember, I think it was Gene, and he said, we want you to stay, we want you to be in the band. And I don't know, it's too hard to feel that emotion, you know, and so we need you to rehearse right away. We're starting the tour, and you got a lot to learn, you know, and you got to take Ace's place. And I thought, you want me in those, yeah, in that, yeah. And it was one after another, but it finally, you know, became me. I became it, and they taught me everything. They taught me so much, and it was they were the best teachers in the world. You know, nothing better, nobody better.
So let me ask, so when you get the job, what is that call like when you call home?
I can tell you exactly what it was like. I was sitting in the bathroom. I was sitting in the tub. I was in the bathtub, and it was a tub. Believe me, it was a tub, and it was like it was like no furniture in this place. And I remember I was finally home, and Gene said, "Listen, here's what's going to happen. We need you to come back and go back to LA. Come back, and this is how much we're going to pay you." And I just, you know, I'm screaming. I'm sitting in the bathtub screaming, and I'm going, And so he said, "Okay, see you soon. Got your plane booked. Here's the hotel. And I remember hanging up, and I went, It was one of those moments, you know. So that was the beginning of it, you know. After many years of, you know, driving a car that didn't have a floor in it, you know. So that was the beginning.
Did you have to deal with any of the Ace sort of controversy that all of a sudden you were there and the original guitarist was gone? And
Ace controversy. Actually, I think I was pretty well received, you know. I think so. But I mean, this was part of them. Ace was a beginning part of them. So they all started together, where I came in, you know, to replace somebody that was that loved and that, you know, that special. And I did the best I could. You know, I did what was me, and I feel that whatever we became as a band took a while. It didn't happen right away. I was so new to them that it didn't feel. I could sense in my world that I know you want Ace back. I think you do, because how could you not want him back? I mean, he was part of you, you know. And I remember Gene saying to me, no, you're in the band. I said, are you sure? He says, yeah, you're in the band. This was after the tour was going on. And we'd get in the limo after his show. He says, you know that part over here where you do this? Don't do that. You know when you do this? That was good. Don't do this. And so he was the best teacher, you know. Paul was more like, what are we doing with Vinnie, you know? But I knew that he was I said, this is meant to be, you know, good or bad, this is meant to be. But I say, this is good. This is the good part that's meant to be. I said, I would say to myself in those days, he's wrong. He's absolutely 100% wrong because what they felt comfortable with was a world I didn't know, you know, and they had Peter, they had Ace, they started together, they made all these records together. It was like you know, it was like one of the biggest thing that had ever hit the world in rock and roll. So how could you not, you know, feel protective of that? To me, that was, you know, you kill for that, you die for that, and you know, to have someone new come into that, especially as a guitarist, was real tough on them, you know, and I knew it. But I also saw past that. I was looking way over there, and I think they were looking back here, you know. And once the Creatures album was, and the tour was done, and Lick It Up began, then I knew we were moving forward, and things really began to change.
Did you know how special Lick It Up was when it came out?
I didn't know. But I knew this. The Kiss with me that was moving forward, that's when I knew. That's the part I said, I'm a part of you now and you're a part of me. You know, when I first joined, I was replacing someone and trying to maintain, you know, the Creatures was still, to me, it was a really powerful lineup. Yeah. Eric was, God, he was one of my favorite drummers. And I don't love drummers because I'm a drum machine type of person. You know, when I put a drum machine on and I write a song to that, that's how I feel it, that's how I hear it. But Eric was special. He had that, you know. He wasn't all just, he was, he felt that, you know. And I don't work with drummers that have that. He was one of the very few that had that. I know how this feels, you know. So together, the four of us together, by the time we got to Lick It Up, it was a real band. It was something I knew this thing could go ever. This thing could go on forever, you know.
When at the end of the makeup era, and you were doing the shows in Rio. What was the train of thought of the band at that point, that you guys were playing to over 100,000 people, but was the makeup coming off at that point, or?
Rio. God, that was probably one moment where I think everybody is going, we're in a foreign country here, and there's like, I think there was like 200,000 people, and they're going crazy, and the police are here, and we got to get out of this alive. Was what I somewhat remember. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, hell yeah. But you know, it was so many people that you don't even know there's people there, you know. It was like an ocean. Like if you stood on a cliff and looked at the ocean, it was very similar to that, you know. Because there's so many people you couldn't really see until you realize there's 200,000 people here, you know. But it was electrifying. I mean, you walked down on stage and the deafening screams was enough to, you know, you could levitate, you know.
Yeah.
Like off of that energy. It was amazing.
Well, I have to ask this. Did you save Kiss?
Damn right I did.
Vinnie!
Good day for a book.
Was there a point either in Creatures or Lick It Up that you kind of had, this wasn't as fun as it was when I first got into this?
No, it was always fun. We were laughing all the time. Paul is the funniest stand-up comic. He puts away everybody. He's like, he gets the essence of what, but he's like a Don Rickles, you know. Don Rickles. He's that kind of comic. But he gets the essence of what you are, and he just blows it up, and it's pretty funny. So I remember laughing all the time. You know, I'm a comedian's best audience. So if you're funny, I'm on the floor laughing. So no, there was no moment for me where it didn't work. It was always working.
What was it like when the team broke apart? When you left KISS, what brought that about, and how did you feel moving forward?
It was horrible. It was horrible for me, and this was not something I wanted to do. This was what I wanted, you know, and I wanted to stay. There was nothing I wanted more. There was a contract involved, and I don't want to get into all of it, but it was not something that I felt I could sign. You know, as much as I wanted to, it was impossible. To be honest with you, I mean, if we're talking about if you wanted to know things, for the time I was in the band, my salary take home was $550 a week, and I had 2 kids. They were finally born, and I had no money for a home. I was still driving a car that was like, you know, I wouldn't want, you know, my wife at the time driving that car, you know, and it was, I still remember, like, there was, you know, well, I know I'm contributing to this, but I feel like, you know, I'm not doing too well. You know, this is not going too well. So I kept asking for, you know, just pay me something that gives me a reason to still stay. You know, because at some point when you're contributing and you're part of the magic, you're part of the mystery, you're part of this machine that is working so well. If it was me, I'd say, I'm not losing you. You're worth something to me. And I didn't feel that I was worth anything to them. And that was the saddest part of it for me, because I wanted to feel that I was valuable to Gene and Paul. They, you know, Eric had his own, you know, arrangement with them, and he was happy. I just something that makes me feel like I can survive doing this. And after a while, to be able to say, I am in this incredible situation, this incredible band, I'm writing the songs, but this is where I live. This is, you know, this is what I have, because these are the fruits of my labor, you know. And it's like a job. When you work a job and you're appreciated, you get a raise. When you work in a job, you're appreciated, they give you a different position. It's about the same thing. And I never felt that, I didn't feel like I belonged. You know, I thought I belonged, but I never felt that I was welcomed as a part of the band the way I would wanted to have been. So at the end of the Lick It Up tour, the last I remember was, and that was the last we ever spoke, believe it or not, was at the end of the Lick It Up tour. Everyone was going home to write their songs for the record, and I said, well, I'll write some songs and I'll see you soon. And a couple of months passed, and I was in a recording studio, and I had Boys Are Gonna Rock, Shoot You Full of Love, No Substitute, Animal. It was all the songs from the Vinnie Vincent record. Thanks. And I was listening to the demos, and I thought, you know, these are really good. These are good. This would make a great KISS album. You know, this would be like, wow. Imagine us, you know, with these songs now. This will be like after Lick It Up, after Creatures, and now we got this. I said, oh, these songs, this is for us.
Wait, you had all those songs, and then we got Murder in High Heels on Animal.
Well, it was something that I wanted us to, to have as in KISS. But they were not able to work anything out with me, and I was really sad. And believe me, there was, I don't think I had $50 in my pocket,
Now, had you presented those songs to the band at that point, or no?
No, because they were saying, well, come on back, and I'm saying, well, please work something out with me, please, So I never came back, and because they chose not to work anything out with me, so I never came back. I stayed and recorded and recorded and recorded, and I'm thinking, I don't know I don't know what my fate is, because I believe in myself, but I don't know what next is. I know I've got this thing that I wanted so bad, this group I wanted so bad, and it wasn't, I felt like they didn't want me, and I didn't know why, because it was such magic that we had, but either they wanted it and didn't want to pay for it, or I felt when people don't pay you something that shows respect and worth, then they ultimately don't respect you. So I took a chance. All I did was I recorded these songs, I took a chance, and I didn't want that to happen, but it found its way there, So I remember quitting, but then I got a letter about a month and a half later saying that I was fired. So I guess what came first, quitting or fired, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It was not something I wanted to happen. I can tell you that.
And then how did that sort of just bring you down, or were you sort of motivated to, I'm going to show these guys, and I'm going to do this on my own?
I had a fighting will, and I knew that these songs were wicked. And I said, this is good. This was a mistake. You should have treated me good.
That's right. That's right.
Because this was probably would have been, in my opinion, one of the best Kiss albums. Because this would have been the natural progression of where we left off with Lick It Up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I said, this is good. Whatever is going to come my way, I'm whatever is meant to be, it'll be. But my heart, my soul was in it, and I whatever little bit of money I had, I kept pumping it in there. Then I found the singer, the voice, and then once that voice was on those demos, I said, that's it. We found gold in the mine, So, and then it found its way to Chrysalis Records, because I can remember sitting, and I knew these songs were hot. We had, I had 3 demos that were finished. It was Boys Are Gonna Rock, No Substitute, and Shoot You Full of Love. Those were the 3 demos. And I can remember sitting in record companies' offices, and I'm sitting there, and I know this is good. This is really good. And I'd always get, this is really good, Vinnie. We'll call you, And one of the best stories I remember was there was a big guy. He was in Polygram. He was a very high up executive who said, I want to hear these demos, Vinnie. Okay, well, here they are. And he says,